I'm Alison McGarry. I manage and develop women's work, but I'm also one of the members of the senior management team of the ITF. I joined the union when I was 14 because I worked in a textile factory and I organised it, but I didn't know that's what I was doing. The conditions were so bad, all women workers, and I was a young political being, and for me it was natural. That's what you do, you organise people.
I'm David Cockroft. I'm General Secretary of the ITF, representing more than 5 million people in 150 countries. We are particularly working very hard on bringing in women from those sectors of transport which have traditionally been considered to be male-dominated.
I'm Michelle Myers from the Maritime Union of Australia. This is my first ITF Women's Conference. We had 220 women and it was just amazing, and we just about touched everywhere. We got every country. In the maritime industry in Australia, I think the women, the worst issue that they have is isolation when they're at sea. Often they're just the only female on a ship, and we do have a lot of harassment issues. I hate to say it, but our other members do harass them. They don't, it's just a culture. They're starting to get over it. We've got a new campaign going for the women. It's called Recruit and Protect. It's getting the women in. So we're setting targets with the employers that when they employ, they've got to employ a certain amount of women. And when we get them in, then we've got to protect them to make sure they're safe, make sure the workplaces are friendly for women.
But we're also working very hard on the railroad sector, because the railroad industry is still very much a male-dominated industry in many parts of the world.
I'm Jane Barrett. I work for the South African Transport and Allied Workers Union. There's been increasing coordination of sharing of information, particularly around health and safety issues, also around issues of restructuring, which has been a major issue over the last 10 years in the railway industry, particularly in countries where railways used to be publicly owned and where there's been privatisation.
Why is it so important for women to get involved? One of the first big strikes at the turn of the last century, and again there's this whole history of women being involved in the labour movement. And the first big strikes was led by women match girls, by women workers. You know what the strategy is, you know what the union needs to do. On the one hand, you know it because you understand organising. On the other hand, because you are a woman, you've had that experience of working with women workers, you have far greater understanding. And I'm not a devout feminist, but by most of the men in the union you're going to have. You're used to working with women who are not traditionally organised or traditionally have not had a key place in the labour movement.
Stay focused, stay positive. Within a union, I'm learning each day that there is no such thing as a no.
You know, in Africa we have the Francophone and the Anglophone. So we're going to have a song in Anglophone and we're going to have a song in Francophone. Both the songs are praising women.
We have decided to be